Sorry. I don't know why I did that. Hey guys, how's everybody doing there? It is time. I gave you guys 2 weeks to deliver some questions for an exclusive questionnaire that was on the Patreon, and I'm glad to see that a lot of my Patrons participated. This is an exclusive theme Q&A that I do on the Patreon, and post it here on YouTube for everybody to see. And we're doing the theme. What is the theme? God of War. Yes, boy. Hand me. No, that's just sorry. Yes, God of War. The classic, the franchise that gave us Kratos and gave us different mythologies from Greek mythology. The Spartan, the ghost of Sparta. You know, yes. So I decided to do this before my trip, which is coming up soon. So I wanted to get this out. I said I would put it up the 28th of January. Here we are. So yeah, thank you. So I want to thank everybody who participated and left questions. It was 4 questions for anybody. And there were 1, 2, 3, 4, wait, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 people participated with a total of basically 14 questions. That's fine. No problem whatsoever. Was I expecting more? Maybe a little. But beggars can't be choosers, right? So we shall get to these questions because we are dealing with God of War, and this should be fun. So we're going to start this off we're going to start from the questions, the longest questions, the questions that were commented first, and then go up to the current. So we're going to start off with Tom Hitberg. Hitterberg. If I put your name, I apologize. So the first question is, did you always see Kratos in the original view as his own worst enemy? Like, sure, he was tricked by other gods, but at the end of the day, it was his ego that led him to his original family's death, and his actions by killing the gods led to devastation among the earth. So basically what you're asking is, do I blame Kratos for a lot of it? Yes, I've always felt that way. I always felt like a little bit of that. I understand the revenge part of the thing, but that's Greek mythology. Greek mythology comes from a lot of tragedy from Greek mythology. So I wasn't surprised. But I always felt like, I'm like, well, you kind of caused this. This is your fault. Like, you know, when you got to the top, you could have been satisfied, but what did you do? Then you turned on him. And let's not be real. Let's not be hasty and say, oh, it's all his fault. Because if you ever read any of the Greek mythology, the Olympians are dicks. Every last one of them. There ain't one of them that care about mortals in that way. Ain't none of them. They see something wrong. They let's punish them, or let's do the R word. How many gods, especially like, you know, especially like Zeus and Poseidon, how many of them use that R word to mortal women? How many children did Zeus sire without their consent? How many times did he go into with another woman and piss off Hera, and wonder why Hera was the way she was, because that dumbass, you know, it's stuff like that. Poseidon, what did he do to Medusa? What did he do to Medusa? You know what, to her in the temple of Athena. And what does Athena do? She curses her, turns her into the Hydra, instead of being pissed off at her uncle. So yeah, think about it. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it kind of was his fault. Question number 2: if God of War had an anime, would what would it be about, and which studio would you like to see animated? Um, Probably the same studio that does the who does the Castlevania and the upcoming Devil May Cry animes. Those are, I like their art style. Or the Terminator, that I like their art style. What would it be about? I would have done a I would do a series. I would do the series that takes place that leads into God of War 4 when he's in Norseland. So I would actually see where he was after 3. Like, where was he? Like, maybe he was in Samaria. Maybe he was in, Egypt, or maybe he was in Ayr, or Ireland or so. Maybe he was dealing with the Celtic gods or something like that. Things like that. So yeah. Um, next question. Did you always find it a bit weird that Kratos' rival in PlayStation All Stars was Sweet Tooth? I never played PlayStation Rivals. I didn't care for it. I was like, at that point in time, that was when everybody was just trying to do a Smash Bros. Clone game, and I was like, I don't care. I really don't. I didn't care. So no offense, I didn't really care about it. I didn't. And besides, in that they had that fake Dante. Fuck that Dante. Number 4. What are your thoughts on this scene where Kratos essentially denounces his past self in the Ragnarok DLC? I watched it. I thought that was beautifully written, and it just shows how far Kratos has come as a person, and Kratos has come, as far as he has come, and not as he looks at his younger self, and he's like, I was a fool. I was a fool. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, I love that. I thought that was great. I love that. So thank you, Tom, for those 4 questions. Next up, Eliza, I've never played it, but what is your favorite character? Well, God of War really focuses on one character, really. Kratos, and later on his son, Atreus, aka Loki. So it really doesn't, and I mean, other characters are involved in it, but mainly it focused on Kratos. So I hate to, say it, but yeah, Kratos, pretty much. I love his evolution, pretty much. Charles Gorman asks, how would you feel if God of War franchise became a part of the DC Comics franchise? I guess I'd be okay with it. I would prefer Kratos to stay in his own world. And, I think a lot of people forget that Kratos was a real god. He was a god. I forget whose child he is. I forget. But yeah, he is real, but he's not like what they show in the series. But yeah, I would be fine with it. I'm sure, they would try to kind of blend him and Wonder Woman's mythology together. So, but they probably make them brothers and sisters. Well, they are. They would be brother and sister because Kratos' dad is Zeus, and so yeah. Do you think Kratos stands a chance against the DC version of Ares? If so, or why not? Yeah, he could. If he could beat his Ares, you think he couldn't beat DC's Ares? Come on. What was your favorite part? Your favorite boss battles throughout the God of War franchise? Oh my God, the boss battles in God of War were great. I have to say, I love facing the Gorgon sisters. So you do get to face Medusa's other sisters in that game, who were by mythology, they were worse than Medusa. See, in mythology and throughout the here, there were three sisters. After Medusa was turned into a gorgon, her sisters, and there are different stories to it, but I love this story more, was where her sisters asked Athena or so to turn them into, so she wouldn't be alone. And they were worse than Medusa. Medusa, it was also said that they had immortality while Medusa didn't. That's why Medusa got her head chopped off. She was dead. But they were worse. Like, I forget which one was like bloodthirsty, like, and the other one could scream, and it was crazy. But yeah, those were fun. The Kronos fight was good. I loved. I thought of course, the Ares Zeus fights were good, and I really liked the Hercules fight. I wish Hercules wasn't a dick in the game. God of War 3, you had to fight Hercules, your brother, and he looked like the goddamn Hulk. And what's very interesting about it, Hercules was voiced by 90s Hercules, Kevin Sorbo. He came back to voice, and I was like, why is Hercules acting like this? Like, he shouldn't be like, oh, like, you were Zeus's favorite son, blah blah blah. Like, why is he jealous? Like, what the fuck? Like, I was so pissed off at that. But and then I loved the Baldur's fight. I knew that was Baldur, the stranger. I knew that was Baldur right away. I was like, that's Baldur. I knew it. I didn't even, because as much as I know Greek mythology, I know Norse mythology very well too, and I knew that was Baldur, and I'm like, yeah, that's Baldur. Can't be hurt, and the only thing that can hurt him is what mistletoe. If you know the legend. So yeah, and I was cool with that. That was just fun to do. The brutality in that fight was ridiculous. Like, when you see that the hammer shots that Kratos drops on, it's just like you see every punch, like he's just throwing his whole weight into it. It's ridiculous. So yeah, those are some fights I loved. Boss fights, those are great. What was your next question? Oh, what are your thoughts on Kratos' son Atreus? He's cool. Seeing Kratos become a dad, a dad again, and truly being able to raise this child is great. He lost his first daughter, and and we didn't see him with a child, for a long time. So it was great. It was great to see him, and I was not expecting him to be Loki. I was like, wait, okay, a little embellishment, okay, but outside of that, I was like, oh, okay, but it was still okay. He was still cool. I like the chemistry that he had, like with his bow and things like that, as he got older too. So it was great. Yeah. Next comes from Comic Guy J990, and his 4 questions were, who do you prefer more as the voice of Kratos, T.C. Carson or Christopher Judd? They both did a masterful job as Kratos. T.C. Carson, for everybody who doesn't know, was Kratos in the previous games. So he was younger Kratos. And Christopher Judd took over as older Kratos. Makes sense. Christopher Judd has done a lot of great voice acting work, and T.C. Carson has done this. He's done stage, and of course, he's done act. I mean, for anybody out there who knows, this is Kyle. This is from Living Singles. Shouts out if anybody loves Living Singles like me. So it was great. And if you don't know who T.C. Carson is, again, let's see if I can give you more of a depiction of what he. If anybody's ever seen Final Destination 2, the black gentleman who was the teacher, that's T.C. Carson. The one that's telling the story, they all were dead. Like, he can really throw his voice and make his good stuff. But I didn't prefer. They both did a great job, so I can't really say I would prefer Christopher Judd over T.C. Carson. Like I said, they played different eras and different versions of Kratos. So yeah, T.C. Carson was older Kratos. and Christopher Judd. Christopher Judd was older Kratos or older Kratos as much, which is pretty cool. Number 2, you asked us, how did you feel about Kevin Sorbo voicing Hercules in the series? I thought it was fine. You know, like I said, yeah, I just talked about that. Yeah, Kevin Sorbo, who played Hercules in the 90s, you know, on the legendary Journeys, he came back to voice the hulking Hercules, because that Hercules was ridiculously large. He was huge. He looked like the fucking Hulk. He looked like the Hulk, and he just towered over Kratos with ridiculous. I'm like, God damn, he was huge. But yeah, and he looked battle tested. Like he had scars everywhere. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, where'd you get that scar from? The Nemean lion? I was like, that's got to be from the Nemean. Like he had scars everywhere. It was just ridiculous. I just didn't like that he was jaded and felt jealous of Kratos. I'm like, the fuck, man? Like, again, Zeus did you dirty too. So what the fuck, man? Like, and your next question, your third question is, did I like the Hercules portrayal in the series? No, I didn't. I did not. I did not like the portrayal of him. I didn't like that he felt like just another sibling that's jealous because this sibling is being is getting more attention. I was better than you, father. Father should love me. Like, love me. No, I hate that. Get out of here. Get out of here. So thank you for that question. Your fourth question. How did you feel about Thor's design in Ragnarok? I was fine with it. I know a lot of people that was made a big deal out of that. Oh my God, look, he's fat. Look at Thor, he's fat. Wait, he's supposed to be blonde. No, what the hell is wrong with you? This is where you do your research and realize that the depiction of Thor that you've been seeing is Marvel's depiction. That's not everybody else's depiction. That's Marvel's depiction. If you look at old paintings from back in the day, you will see that Thor is painted. He's got red hair. He's got long red hair. He's got a red beard. And then the whole depiction of him, I didn't look at him being fat. I just looked at, that's bulk. You know, everybody thinks, the one thing that I think one of the most misconceptions of Viking is that they were towering mountains of muscle. That's not true. That has been scientifically proven false. They weren't. They were not. Some were short, very short. Now all of them were over like 7 feet tall, and you could tell that Thor was like 7 feet tall. He was tall, but I loved it. I didn't hate it. I'm like, it's cool. It's a nice different depiction. I knew that, but there were people that made such a fucking stupid arguments over like, oh my God, he's fat. I don't want to see you fat, Thor. Go fuck yourself with that. Get out of here with that, man. You got such a hard on for Thor, Marvel's Thor, or I should say Chris Hemsworth. You're thinking that's what every depiction. No, fuckers. Get over yourselves. Next up, Quentin Blake asks, who should play Kratos in a live action if okay. Oh, all your questions are jumbling. Who should play Kratos in a live action? I don't know. I mean, everybody's saying this person. Then there's the Dutch giant. You know, he's who's gonna play one of the villains in who already kind of walks around as Kratos many times. The Dutch giant. Have you ever seen him? He's gonna be the villain in the season 3 of Jack Reacher. He's cosplayed as Kratos, and it's funny as hell. But yeah, you know, I've heard people say, Jason Momoa. I think Dave Bautista, I don't know. It's hard to decide on with that because everybody's just going for like mountains of muscle. Like you gotta have somebody that can act too. Like, and don't get me wrong, Dave Bautista can act. He's probably, if you were looking for somebody who has proceeded from wrestling into and has started to perfect his acting skills, Dave Bautista's up there. I would put him at number one over even John Cena and The Rock and people like that. Dave Bautista he's really working his craft and showing that he has range and not just being categorized in just one genre. John Cena's doing it too. But yeah. If Atrocitus met Kratos, do you think he would hate him or try to get him into the ring? He would try, but it won't work. Especially depending on which part of. Basically, what you're trying to say is would Kratos join the Red Lanterns? Maybe younger Kratos, but not older Kratos. No, no, he wouldn't. How long will Kratos? You ask this question all the time, Quentin, about the DC vampire versus vampire universe. You ask that all the time. Do you have do you have an affect, like a little bit of a kinship or a hard-on for that universe? I don't care for that universe very much. But I'm just joking. But still, like, you ask that all the time with questions. I'm sure he probably could, And lastly, do you think Zelda would trust older Kratos than younger one? Yeah, I guess, yeah. Pretty much. So thank you for those questions. Ben Awatu asks, Did you know the stranger in Ragnarok was Balder? Yes, I knew. I knew right away. I knew right away once you meet him, and as soon as, because this is taking place, once they announced that it's taking place in Norseland, and I'm looking at this guy, and first I was like, wait a minute, okay, who is this? And then once you just show like he couldn't be hurt, I'm just like, Balder. I was like, Balder. I was like, that's Balder. I knew who that was. I was like, Balder. So I did know. It was because of my knowledge of not just of Greek mythology but Norse mythology. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's Balder. I knew it. I knew right away. I knew right away that it was that was Balder. Next question. People were so unhappy about Thor's look. Were you? No, I was not. I just said that. I just talked about that. No, I was not. The problem was that people who were so butthurt over it had such a hard on, or they thought, oh well, Marvel's depiction of Thor, that's Thor. That's the definitive look for Thor. So he should be tall and blonde and blue eyes and get out of here. Because if that was the case, I would have been upset with Thor's depiction in Hercules and in the Legendary Journeys of Hercules from the 90s. Hercules went to Norseland in that, and we saw Thor in that, and he didn't look anything like Marvel's Thor. And if I'm not mistaken, those episodes were written by who was it written by? Written by a comic book writer, and he didn't have his helmet looked more like a ram's helmet. He had in that depiction he had brown hair, and so I'm like, no, I don't. It's everybody's depiction. It's like nobody should, like, even when it comes to Zeus, like, if you want to make Zeus look old, He looks more older than he should be. Okay. Even Odin in that universe, he looked more like the actor that voiced him. I'm forgetting that actor's name, but he's well known, and he didn't look like uh, Anthony Hopkins' version, or just in general. Most of the depictions of Odin, in especially other mediums, he's big. He looks towering. He's got the one eye. That's the only thing that most people have depiction Odin is the one eye. But no, it's just a depiction. Like, everybody's depiction is going to be different. You're not going to have a definitive look for this character. And if you do, okay, but at the same time, everybody's going to be different. And I just don't get it. Like, I just didn't understand that. I was just like, y'all bugging. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, this is sometimes the problems with fandoms. It's like, you think everything is supposed to be this way, and you don't keep a freaking open mind about everything. It's just dumb. It's the dumbest thing sometimes. Yes, don't get me wrong. There are designs of characters that I've known since I was a kid, and I look at some of them and I'm like, no, that's not for me. But I'm not hating on it to a point, because at the end of the day, that means somebody took, basically what it is, this is how I look at it. Someone took their their time and effort, and put their own twist to a character, and they're expressing it to you, us, the consumer, not in a bad way, but just say, hey guys, here's my depiction of Thor, for the God of War. I didn't see that same kind of. I didn't see people going ballistic with God of War's depiction of Ares, how he looked, or Hercules, how he looked, or Hermes and all these other gods. Nobody batted a freaking eye over that. But soon as Thor comes around, everybody's got a bad attitude over it. Oh, he looks fat. No, get out of here. Grow up. Number 2. Is Kratos on your favorite demigod list? Well, I would say yes and no, because the real Kratos is not. He was a god in Greek mythology. The real Kratos was a god. And I'm just trying to remember. Yes, he was. He was a god. He was the god of strength and strength, power, and rule. There we go. Yeah, strength, power, and rule. I believe it. He was the god of. I know he's the god of strength, and I think he was. He had 3 siblings, and he was. I think he was. Whose kid was he? I gotta want to look this up. I can't remember whose child he was. He was the son of Pallas and Styx. Yeah, there we go. So, but in the game, yeah, and I didn't even think he was a demigod. To me, him being Zeus's son was a complete cop-out. I wish he wasn't. I was like, again, but then I'm not surprised. I was like, yeah, Zeus is the biggest. That dude will poke anybody. He'll poke anyone. Oh yeah, I want that. I'm gonna poke her. Yeah. Oh, her. Oh, her. Oh, her husband is gone. Oh, her husband's off at war. Let me disguise myself as. Oh, I'm gonna get it in now. Yeah, I'm poke. Leave, and then I'm off. I got a new son, and I'm not gonna give a damn about him, really. It'd be if Zeus was on Maury, you be seeing him every day. Zeus, you are the father. Cause it'd be ridiculous. How many women be coming forward? I know Zeus is my son's kid. Get DNA tested. Zeus, you are the father. Ridiculous. But I would say maybe. Yeah, he's up there. Could be. Number four. What's Kratos? What was Kratos a real Greek? What was Kratos in Greek mythology? Like I just said, he was a god. He was. I just talked about that. He was the god of strength, power, and rule. So yeah. I think his one of his sisters was Nike. Uh, If you ever seen Nike, or Nike, she looked like an angel. You kind of see her throughout myth, but yeah, that's who Kratos is. So thank you, Ben, for those questions. Next up, Nolan, you and what kaiju do you want to see Kratos fight? Uh, I mean, I don't want to just say Godzilla. I'll go with Ghidorah. Okay, there you go. What Japanese gods do you want to see in a God of War series? Do we know that he's going? There will be he's going to Japan to meet the Shinto gods. I didn't know that. Let's see. Well, current Kratos now. I would love to see. I would love to see. I would love to see. I would love to see him meet the Japanese, the Shinto god, or the Japanese god of war, Hachiman. Hachiman. He's the god of war. He's the god of war in Japan. He's also the god of archery and culture, and he's also a protector. He's like a patron god. If I patron god, yeah, I think he's a patron god. Yeah. He was definitely one of them. I would love to see them. I would love to see him meet the real Fujin and Raiden from Shinto mythology. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Those were some. What superhero would you like to see Kratos team up with? Superhero, Wonder Woman would be good. Marvel's Hercules would be cool. Orion, like the new gods, that'd be kind of cool. Doctor Strange. Black Panther, people like that. That'd be cool. Next up, Duke Lawton asks, what was your thought on older Kratos meeting younger Kratos? I talked about that. Guys, you should be reading the questions. I always tell you guys, like, don't repeat the question. You guys are repeating questions I'm seeing. That's something I always try to tell you guys. It's very important, and I think it's very important sometimes to go up and look at people's questions and see, okay, if I'm going to ask the same question, and yes, guys, you're asking the same question. But yeah, like I said, him meeting his younger self was interesting, and just him looking at himself and realizing he didn't like what he saw. It's like, I'm not that person anymore. I thought that was tip-top writing and great execution of showcasing this man is different. I'm not that character, and that's sometime in life too. Like it was really a balance of life, like him realizing that he's not that person anymore. So I did like that. But yes, guys, please, that is one thing I ask you guys all the time. Don't repeat the same questions. Number 2, how would Kratos react to the modern world? How would Kratos react to the modern world? I think he would be amazed, but also, um, also, you'd be disappointed a little. I would think. You know how technology has almost taken over everything of our way of life. You know, and it's like he would look at that like, he would see they focus too much on these magic boxes. Their heads are always, he would, yeah, he would be 50, not even 50-50. He would be, I would say he would be 85, 80-20. So he would hate it, and 20 there would probably be things he'd probably be interested in, but he would hate it. He would hate it. Yes, he would. So thank you for those questions, Duke. Next up, we have Jalen Bullseye Collins. What is up, Jalen? If Kratos didn't go, if Kratos didn't go to fate, let me repeat this. If Kratos didn't go face the Viking gods in Ragnarok, where would you have sent him? Oh, me personally. So if I did God of War, if I did God of War for God of War, the next God of War, would I have done? Would I have done? Yeah, would I have done? Ragnarok and all that. Where would I have sent him? Since he's Greek, I probably would have sent him, like I said, to Mesopotamia, or maybe Samaria. Maybe have him meet like Gilgamesh or somebody like that. I more likely probably send him to Egypt. I would have loved to see him in Egypt. That would have been interesting to see him deal with, see how he would deal with the Egyptian gods and things like that. Or I would have, or I would have sent him maybe into, have him deal with like Russia, what would be Russia, like the Slavic gods or something like that. That'd have been interesting, because the Slavic gods don't get a lot of props. Even the Celtic gods don't really. I would have maybe sent him to Ireland, to where he dealt with the Celtic gods, like Carnunus and Bab, the goddess of war, which is a female, things like that. So there's a lot of places I would have sent him instead of Norseland. But I believe Norseland, when it comes to mythology, I think the Greek gods are very well known, and I think the Norse gods are probably number 2 or number 3 well known compared to. But I would have sent them to an area where the lesser known, you would be dealing with gods of a different culture that are lesser known and not as popular as the Greeks, the Egyptians, or the Norse gods. Number 2 on your list. How do you truly feel about the evolution of Kratos? I love it. That's good evolution. You see a character change, but for the better. Kratos was an angry guy. He was angry. He was always angry. And I don't think, and if he'd have looked himself in the mirror, he would realize that a lot of what has happened to him is his fault. Is the man looking back at him. And it took him a long time to realize that. So yes. Yes. Have you ever played the PSP God of War game? No, I never owned a PSP, so I never got to play those games. I think they brought those games out on like PlayStation 3 and all those, but I can't remember. Correct me on that. But I never played that. Never played those. Number 4. Kratos says he's a god, but isn't he just a demigod? Yes, he's a demigod, not a god. He's not a god. If he is if he is Zeus's son and his mother was a mortal, he's a demigod. He's not a god. He became a god, and then he lost it. There's different mythologies of Hercules as well. Like, he died and ascended to Olympus and became a real god. So yeah, but no, he's a demigod. He's not a god. I remember when he said that. He said that, I'm a god boy. I'm a god boy. I was like, no, you're not a god. You're half god, not a full god. You can still be killed. Even though it'll be still tough. But thank you, Jalen, for those questions. The next one, 2 more to go. Mr. Spartan. We've got a Spartan here. Spartan! Alright, if Kratos could bring back his family, his previous family, would he? That is an excellent question. Wow. I like this question. If he got a wish or so to bring back his previous family, his daughter and his first wife, would he do it? Wow, that's a tough question. I don't think he would. I want to say he probably wouldn't, but Atreus would have a sister. He would have an older sister. Wow, that's a good. I'm kind of stumped. Like, I don't think he would. Maybe his daughter, because she was young when she. Yeah, man, that's hard. That's really hard. What do you guys think? Do you think he would? I'll throw this question to everybody, to viewers. What do you think? Do you think if he was able to bring back, if Kratos got a wish to bring back his previous family, his previous wife and his daughter, I'm forgetting his daughter's name, would he do it? There you go. Thank you for that question, Mr. Spartan. That's an excellent question. Thumbs up. And last but not least, we have Solomon the Hooded. And he asks, have you read the God of War comics? Yes, I have. I've read the comics. There were a few comics. I think Dark Horse put them out. I did read some of those. They were good. They were cool. They were cool as well. Like I read the prototype comics. Like, I like comics that are based off of game characters, and the God of War comics were good. I believe they were under Dark Horse. Let me make sure. I want to make sure. I don't want to say something and then I'm like, no. Then somebody says, no, they weren't. Let me make sure. Yes, they were under Dark Horse. Yes, they were under Dark Horse. There was God of War, Fallen God. That was a 4-part miniseries. Then they did another volume. Then they did another God of War game. And I guess this took place. That took place in between the 4th God of War. So yeah. I have read the God of War. I read a few of them. I read Fallen God and maybe two issues of the God of War. So yes, thank you. That would be all. That's all, folks. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I had a lot of fun doing God of War questions. I look forward to doing this again. Will I do it for February? Yes, I will. I'll put it up. I'll probably put up the next theme Q&A for February, and give you guys, 2 weeks or so to deliver questions. But as you guys know, February I will be out of the state. I will be out of New York. I will be in Florida. The first full week of February, I'll be going to MegaCon for the 3rd time. So I won't be around very much. But I'm gonna try to upload as much as I can and put up some stuff prior to prior to when I'm leaving. But yes, don't worry, I will be vlogging. I'll do as much as I can. But with that being said, guys, you guys take care, and I'll see you guys next time.